Hello and welcome to Cooking with Kids. Today we are going to be making veggie casserole. So for our recipe today, we are going to be using 1.5 cups of rice, 1 cup of corn. You can use frozen or canned. We're going to dice up our 1 red bell pepper. We are going to need 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, and that red onion we have, we are going to dice it up. We are going to then need 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of paprika. And for salsa, for this recipe, we are going to use 1.5 cups. We are also going to need 1 can of black beans. And last is a jalapeno. We're going to dice a jalapeno up, or I decided to use the can. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to give our rice a very good wash. Before you cook with any rice, it is very important to always wash your rice. So I'm just pulling out anything that I see that doesn't look like it belongs in there, and I'm going to do this about 3 times, or I'm going to do it at least until the water is no longer cloudy. So as you can see, my water is now clear, which tells me my rice is all clean and ready to go. Now we're gonna set our stovetop to about medium-high heat, add our olive oil, and get that skillet nice and warm before we start adding all of our ingredients. The first thing I'm gonna add are my diced up red onions, and I'm going to cook these for about 2 to 3 minutes before I add our next ingredient. Next, we're gonna add our dry oregano. And again, we're just going to mix that all in with our ingredients that are currently frying in our pan. Now we're gonna grab our diced up red bell pepper and we're gonna add that into our heated frying pan and saute them for 2 to 3 minutes. Now it's time to open up those black can of beans and we're going to put them in a strainer and we're going to give them a really good rinse and get them all nice and clean before we add them to our frying pan. So here comes the best part. Take your diced up jalapeno pepper and we're going to add that in, mix it all together. We're going to add our black beans. We're gonna add our 1 cup of corn. Now we're gonna add our 1.5 cups of salsa. And then we're gonna get that rice that we washed earlier and we're gonna add that into the mix. So here we go, we're gonna pour that in, give it a really good mix. Also, I did not add the cheese to my recipe. You guys have the cheese, so at this point is when you can start adding your 1/2 cup of Monterey Jack cheese to your recipe. And you're gonna give that a really good stir. I did add a little bit of water just to make sure that my rice was thoroughly cooked. It's just a suggestion, you don't have to do it, but if you wanna make sure that your rice gets cooked properly, I suggest you add a little bit of water. And now we're just gonna add the last little bit of ingredients before we put the lid on this and let it simmer. So we are going to add our paprika, our salt, and our chili powder. And we're going to give this all a really good mix. And again, don't forget to add a little bit of water And then we are going to put the lid on it, and we are going to let this simmer on low heat, low, medium, high heat for about 20 to 25 minutes. And here is our veggie casserole dish. I thought it was absolutely delicious, and this was such a fast and easy recipe. What did you think? I can't wait to hear back. Until next time, bye.